is Lindsay Schroeder, spiritual wellness, intuitive business, and mindset coach with Our and R. And today, I am going to make Brene Brown oh so proud, and I am going to be super vulnerable with you guys. I am going to talk about my triggered witch wound, and I'm going to do something that I really love when other coaches, leaders, teachers, gurus, those people in the spiritual community that I look up to do this. And this thing that I am speaking to is being really honest about when we are scared of something, when something comes up for us that is difficult, that is hard, the times that we are triggered. And I mean more than just, oh yes, I have imposter syndrome sometimes when I'm going live, or there are times when I don't feel as attractive. Those things, of course, are real and are honest, and so many of us share them, but I want to really make Brene Brown proud and dig a little deeper, be extremely vulnerable and extremely truthful with you guys. So I want to talk to you first and foremost about what is a witch wound. So when I say that my witch wound is triggered or it's coming up for me, you guys really understand that. And now some of you might process the witch wound as something technical, as something that truly has happened to us in a previous life. So we carry that wound energetically, sometimes physically, ancestrally in the body. And for others, you might process this more figuratively as, oh yes, that is a wound that growing up in this society or being a part of, how we were programmed and how we were trained, that comes up. However you honor this, however you take this, that is beautiful and that is aligned. So what the witch wound refers to is back in previous times, those of us who were witches, and again, this can be you believe in a previous life and you yourself live this, or you believe that there were people in a past time that lived this. So however it processes for you, again, take what serves you and leave the rest. Those of us, and I truly, fully, wholeheartedly believe that I have had many a past life as a witch. In these past lives, in these past times, when you spoke your truth, when you came out to your community, to your village, to those of you around you and said, I know plants, I can help you heal, I can support you in boosting your immunity, I can support you in these rituals, in these ceremonies, in these spells, from one end of the spectrum, being a holistic healer, all the way to the other end of the spectrum, being able to wield alchemy and magic. When we spoke up, when we were honest, when we were truthful, when we stood in our power and honored our gifts, a lot of us were burned at the stake. We're stoned, we're isolated, we're ostracized. And so in this life, in this iteration, it feels really unsafe to speak our truth sometime, to be really honest about our gifts, about the magic that we have within us, about the things that we do. And one of the things that is super important to me in this industry, to those of you, and I know I have a few of you on here who work with me either privately or in my membership or have worked in one of my courses or digital offerings, I think it is extremely important that those of us who are teaching, who are leading in this space, in this industry, and honestly, in every space, in every industry, show up in vulnerability, in truth, in authenticity, and honor that we don't always have it all together, that things come up for us, that there is stagnation, that there is trauma, that there are fears, that there are things that we, even as teachers, even as leaders, even as healers, even as a priestess, which I do identify as, there's still so much for me and for others who position themselves as leaders, as teachers, as gurus. Those of us who are really doing this work will be the first to tell you, I go through that too. I have vulnerability. I have spaces of growth. I have these things that I'm working on that really trigger me. So today, I want to be really vulnerable and share with you. I want to sit in my authenticity and share space with you and let you know about a specific topic that has really triggered my witch wound. Something that I have gently talked about just a teeny little bit, and every time I go to mention it, every time I go to write about it, every time I go to post it on a story, every time I think, oh, I'm going to send an email about this, I pull myself back a little bit. I shrink. I dull my light. And today, I got a very clear intuitive message from one of my guides who really supports me in embodying my divine feminine, my goddess, my priestess, that medicine woman, that witch that I've been in the past. And she told me, it is time to share this. It is time to be honest. It is time to be vulnerable. It is time to show up in your truth and do this thing that is a little scary, that makes you a little nervous, because it is your witch wound. And she showed me a spot on my physical body where I had been stabbed before by someone who had come to my home, who I was making a tincture, a potion, supporting in these things. And they had had their head filled with witches are bad and it's dark magic and don't trust them and they're trying to hurt you and it's not safe. And so as I was speaking my truth, as I was sharing my magic, this specific magic, as I was telling her about this specific magic, I was stabbed. I was physically harmed. And so today, when I show up, when I share this with you, when I offer this to you, when I sit in this space of a little nervous, a little uncomfortable, so vulnerable, and yet so powerful in doing this, I love to share that so that each of you can know and believe and feel that all of us go through this, that this is one of the things that we chose to incarnate, to work on, to show up in our vulnerability, to be authentic even when it's a little bit scary, to create a new world when we don't fit into the current world. So the thing that I want to share, the magic that I want to be honest with you about, is about the blood of our bodies. The only blood that comes from something that is the absolute opposite of violence. The only blood that comes truly from creation. Yoni blood. So I do so much magical work with yoni blood, with my own yoni blood. And it's a topic that I have shied away from so many times. It is something that I have definitely felt that fear of, will they think I'm gross? Will they think it's too far out there? Will it isolate my clients? Will it make me less desirable as someone to work with? Will it inspire fear? Will they be disgusted? All of these different things that I know are not true, that I inherently know that my higher self and my guides remind me all the time are not true, that it is societal programming, that it is the fear around me, that it is the patriarchy trying to keep me down, trying to pull us apart from each other, trying to keep our magic apart from each other, trying to separate and disempower women. So I stand in my most vulnerable state. I bare my soul, I bare my truth to you, and I let each and every one of you, both those of you who are here with me live, Hedel, OTHIX4, Jenny, your enlightened soul, all of you who are here with me live, and those of you who will be catching this on the replay, I deeply love and am extremely passionate about working with my yoni blood. Balancing my ability to connect with my feminine cycle, to honor the cycles that I go through, and to use this magic, this pure creation energy that comes from my body to reprogram and realign my energetic connection, the paradigm that I have with it. All of these things are so important to me and are a big part of my practice. And yet it is something that I have never done a live about. I have barely mentioned this on my stories. I don't believe I've ever done a post on Instagram or even in my private Facebook group about this. I know I have written an email and never sent it. So this is me honoring the fact that each of us, even those of us who are leaders, who are teachers, even those of us who are coaching and mentoring others, have spaces of deep vulnerability. And this activated my witch wound. Every time that I do this magical work with my own yoni blood, I offer my yoni blood to my plants. So I will mix it with my distilled water and I will offer it to my plants. I will also use it as skincare. I have extreme eczema, and yoni blood is so nutritious. It is so full of life force and energy that I program it by holding it, setting my intention, because it is so programmable. It is true, pure creation energy. And then I place that on my skin and I allow myself to heal from this. I also love to paint and journal and do artistic work with my yoni blood. I offer my yoni blood back to Pachamama and commune with her. I love working with this beautiful, magical, powerful energy. And I want to start sharing this with you guys. I want to be more honest, more authentic, bring this work to the forefront. I want to be able to answer questions and inspire you guys. And also, and this is hard for me to say, this is scary for me to say, I do want to isolate those of you who do think this is disgusting, who do fear this, who do not feel comfortable in this space and wish I didn't talk about it. It is okay to lose followers, to push potential clients away when they are not in alignment with our true work. So if this is too uncomfortable for you, if it is disgusting to you, if it is gross, if you're like, oh, no, I don't want to participate in any of the things that she teaches because of this, that is okay. That is okay, and I honor where you are, and I peacefully, gloriously, lovingly let you go. And I send you off to find another space, another teacher, another leader, another mentor who speaks your language, who is offering the teachings and the education that really speaks to you. Thank you so much for witnessing my vulnerability, for holding space for me, for listening and considering what a witch wound is, considering, thinking, potentially meditating, or even journaling on when has your witch wound been triggered or activated. Your enlightened soul, exactly. The ones that are your people will stay. And that is the beauty of this work, of this sharing, of this shadow work, because this, stepping into our vulnerability, doing those things, looking at our triggers in the face and honoring them, and for me, sharing them, because that is so much of my work. I teach what I have been through. I teach the lessons and the practices and the ceremonies and the rituals that have served me a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. And this is such a profound, powerful, and priestess part of my personal practice. And I have shied away so many times from sharing it with you. So today, I do not shy away. Today, I look my witch wound in the eyes and I honor her and I hold her. I hold that space on my physical body and I offer light and I offer love and I offer healing. And I look at my shadow and I say, I understand your fear. I understand your shame. I understand your judgment. And I am so grateful for you showing me this space, this area of growth. Hedel says, speaking your truth and what guides you is important. I am so damn proud of you, Lindsay. Well, thank you so much, Hedel. I adore you. Today, I offer you this beautiful practice. So I have these sacred little cups that I love, and when I am on my moon cycle, I have them in my bathroom, placed next to my glorious ritual bath. And so anytime that I am feeling my body and my body is telling me I am ready to release blood, I go into the bathroom and I catch my blood. I also really try not to use tampons. I try not to put anything in my body that is like plugging my body. I try and let my body free bleed as often as possible. I work with red towels. I will lay them down or place them in my underwear and let my body free bleed. I want to try to alleviate any bleaches, any chemicals. Also, when we're utilizing a tampon, we're pulling and absorbing not only the blood, but all of the good bacteria, all of the beautiful balancing our natural body's pH and the bacteria that naturally occur in that space, and we're throwing off our body's natural rhythm. So I try very hard. Of course, I live in the modern world, and there are definitely times, maybe when I'm going on a boat, or I'm going swimming, or I'm going to be, doing something very active where I don't have the luxury of free bleeding at home. And I so gratefully and in this beautiful privilege honor and accept that it is a privilege to be able to pleasantly and by choice free bleed and choose to not work with a tampon or a pad, whereas so many other women in other situations and other places don't have that ability. If I had a regular 9 to 5 job where I had to commute and go there, and I couldn't get up and go to the bathroom anytime I wanted, or only had specific breaks, I might not be able to do that. I probably wouldn't be able to do that. So looking at my own privilege and expressing such deep gratitude for the fact that I have that ability, that it allows me to catch my blood as my yoni releases it and honor it when it comes out, and then utilize this for my plants, or utilize this for my skin, or utilize this to create soul-centered, heart-led art, or actually looking into, I do readings with my blood like I might do a tea leaf reading all the time. I interact with the pure creative energy, with the pure life force energy that is the blood of my yoni, that is the blood that can sustain life. So thank you so much for joining me, for being here with me, for witnessing my vulnerability, for allowing me to share this practice that is so important to me. For those of you who are here live, for those of you who are going to be catching this on the replay, I would love to hear your questions. So please drop those in the comments. Let me know if you are interested in this topic, if you want to learn more about this topic.